Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and another episode of Prop Party. That's right. Every Thursday, we attack and find the best alts, anytime touchdowns, and parlays, and we're going to do that in just 1 minute. That's right. It's Thursday. We've got Thursday night football, but for us, it's Prop Party because, again, we are going to find the best Week 11 alts, anytime touchdowns, parlays, talk it through, and then we will build a Thursday night same game parlay. Missed on it last week. It was close. It was a sweat to the fourth quarter. We've hit, I think, 2 of the last 4 weeks, so we're going to try to run back a show same game parlay for Thursday night football tonight. Let me say hi to the guys, and then we'll get into the good stuff. Tyler, I'll go to you first. How are you doing? How are you feeling about tonight? How are you feeling about Week 11?
I'm good, Meg. I feel good about tonight. I feel good about this week. I think there's a lot of solid matchups, a lot of solid prop spots, a couple spots I like on the side too. So we'll get into those, and then I think we'll get into tonight. I think we're going to be torn on tonight's game, but we shall see.
Yeah, Steve and I are Washington fans, but I've become a realistic Washington fan. My brother's always been a realistic Washington fan. Not so much for me. This year, I've been a realistic Washington fan, and they've exceeded expectations. But tonight, I think is going to be a little tough. So that'll be interesting to talk through with both you guys. Steve, how are you doing in general for Week 11 for tonight? How are you doing?
Doing well. It's very interested in tonight's game, which we'll get to at the end. But Week 11, there's some definitely interesting matchups. Again, we have 4 teams on bye, so it's a little thinner of a slate to pick from, and I do think we probably will be pivoting more to some passing props and receiving props. We've been hitting the running backs a lot this year, but not a lot of great spots that I'm seeing in the running game.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 passing like quarterback spots that I like this week. We'll get into it in a minute. And if you follow our Dub Club, you know that we like attacking like the quarterback parlay ladders where you ladder. Like last week, we got Brock Purdy 275 and 2. Well, he didn't quite get to 303, but if you get the first one, it kind of pays for your shots at the other ones, and you ladder it up, betting a little more each one. And we've had a lot of success with that this year. I actually need to break down, I'm going to work on a record on that and all of our parlays that we have hit this year. But those are fun. And there are definitely some quarterback ones, one being your quarterback, Mr. Russell Wilson, Tyler, that I want to attack because I cannot believe the line that I saw for him today. Way too low against that Ravens secondary. So we'll get into that. But I definitely see us going back to the well on some of these quarterback parlay ladders because there are some guys in nice spots, to Steve's point. Before we get into it for tonight, and of course we got our guy Andrew in chat. Always good to see you, Andrew. Thank you, the TD King. Before we get into it, of course, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to get up to 500 subscribers, and then we'll do a big giveaway for that. But check that out, and then check out. We will have Tyler and Spread. They did their NFL betting card yesterday. Check that out. They break down every game. I will have their picks up. We'll have your picks up probably by tomorrow on the NFL betting card. Totally free on fanspeak.com. And then go to fanspeak.com. You can see the link at the bottom. Check out Dub Club. Free week. Check it out. And it's only $45 for the rest of the NFL season. So check that out on the Fanspeak homepage. Now that we got that out of the way, now we can talk the good stuff. So we're going to get into our favorite alts. And I know before we get to that, and we will talk Thursday night football at the end of the show, but I will tease this. I know Andrew wrote in our Twitter, our Fanspeak Twitter, AJ Brown, 27.5 longest reception, favorite bet for tonight. I know you were eyeing that up a day or two ago or whenever it was released, and only see that number on FanDuel. So absolutely like that. I mean, you definitely can still attack the Washington secondary. Marshawn Lattimore is not playing tonight, so definitely like that a lot. So, but now let's talk Week 11 alts, the alt market. I'd love to say, like, jump in, say ladies first and just steal the Steelers ones, but I'll go to the Steelers fan. I'll let you have it if you want it. Tyler, what are your favorite alts this week?
I'm not betting any Steelers alts this week, Meg, because I'm on the complete opposite side of you on that game. They're going to lose that game. Yeah, so don't get too excited about the Pittsburgh guys in this one, but we will be using.
Are you just being a cynical fan like I can sometimes be?
No.
Well, no. Okay.
I mean, you want me to explain why?
Yes. That Baltimore secondary is horrible.
Okay, but is George Pickens going to win this game by himself? because Calvin Austin isn't going to just torch them. They're not going to be able to run the ball. Najee's not
No,
practicing.
they won't be able to run.
They
Did he not
also
practice today either?
Everyone talks about how good their defense is. 100 scrimmage yards for Tyrone Tracy 2 weeks ago and touchdowns. Austin Eckler had multiple touchdowns last game, but he was on short field, so he didn't accumulate the yards. Now Lamar and Derrick Henry are strolling into town. The one side of the defense is missing Highsmith and Herbig. They're not the same. I mean, their record is better than what the team is in my eyes, and I think that this is the best team they've played all year by a mile. And this is the spot where they finally get the hammer laid down on them.
But Mike Tomlin on at home as a dog,
everyone always just dives on the Mike Tomlin trends.
I know. Just like we all are going to dive on Mahomes trends for that. You don't think it's the same thing for Mike Tomlin? I mean, he is just the GOAT.
It works a lot, Meg, but it doesn't always work every time. And I think this is the spot where it doesn't work.
It'll be interesting. We've got two of these spots, the Mike Tomlin spot and then the Patrick Mahomes spot. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting because we've got two. I mean, they're the two games that people want to see the most this weekend from like a real life football perspective. And obviously tonight's game is very impactful and exciting and all that stuff too. And then the Seattle, San Francisco, we've got a good week 11 slate as far as like real life games. Matchups. Okay. But to your point, say you're correct and the Steelers lose. That feeds into my thing even more because we know the Steelers want to be run heavy, but they really can't. You know you can't run against Baltimore. If they go down, say Henry gets going and they go down, that feeds into my script even more. Russ is only 237 or something is his line. 250 plus you get, I had it up a minute ago, you get plus, give me 1 second, plus 165, 2 touchdowns is even money. 3 touchdowns is Yahtzee. And George Pickens, you get plus money at 80 yards. You're telling me you don't love 250 and 2 for Russ and 80 yards for Pickens and what you think could be a potential negative game script?
I like the Pickens better than the Russ and Alding Russ up here. I mean, everyone just keeps basically shitting on Baltimore's defense and how bad they are. But how many defenses in the league don't get shredded by Joe Burrow twice, Tampa Bay at full health, Washington put up 23, and Kansas City put up 27 at full health? All those offenses shred any defense in the league. So is Baltimore's defense really that bad, or they've played some of the best units in the league?
Well, who are the ones I'd have to pull up their schedule. Who are the ones? Yeah, Bo Nix didn't get there. I know because
Bo Nix got 10 points on that defense.
Yeah. Yes.
Josh Allen was held to 10.
He played like shit that game. I don't know because I bet his over that night. And I was like, what the hell is happening here? He played off. That was that Sunday night game where Henry just ran the first play of the game from scrimmage. And that just. Yeah.
I can just see it being a spot where Pittsburgh can't establish the run at all. Russ is dropping back way too much than he should. Maybe throws a couple interceptions, and it just doesn't go well for Pittsburgh.
Even better for the old props. I'm just so into hopefully, Mike Tomlin, they're so well coached. Hopefully they lean into what the strength should be. And then if it does go what you're thinking, then even better for my side. So I've teased it. So you do think Baltimore wins this game though, clearly.
Yes, I think Baltimore wins. I think Baltimore wins and covers.
I am very bullish. I know you were bullish on my team earlier in the year. We'll find out later how bullish you are on them now. I am very bullish on your Steelers. I mean, this coach is, and I know we joke with you about Tomlin, but like he is absolutely just a go coach that has never had a losing season, takes them to playoffs every year. He finally, with crap, does done it with crap, and now he finally has the horses, I think, to make a run. I actually am excited to watch your Steelers, and I'm not as scared as some of the other AFC competition. So I may be a little more bullish on your Steelers than you in this one. But okay,
you're definitely more bullish on me because he's definitely had the horses before and he couldn't get there.
Well, okay, I know he has had the horses before. I meant the last couple of years it hasn't been cute. Yeah. But you're right. And I know you've talked about like the Killer Bees era and that kind of stuff. He's definitely had the horse. So totally take it. Like, let me walk that back. But okay, Steve, break the tie here. Does Russ get there? Okay, well, you can say which side you like in this game, but we're talking props. We're trying to find alts to win here. He said he likes the Pickens. He agrees with me there. Do you like the Russ? Do you like the Pickens? Do you like both? How do you want to attack this game?
Yeah, I think Baltimore probably wins where, it's a cover or not. I could see this being close. These games typically are close. And I do, but from prop standpoint, I do like Russ and Pickens because I agree they're not going to be able to run. Even if Najee suits up, they're not going to be able to run. And you know, I think Russ has looked good. I mean, Steelers have scored 26 points in all three of his starts. And that includes like the 2 missed touchdowns in that Giants game with the bullshit holding call or face mask, and then the
2 called back from Hip Pickens. Yeah,
and then the double tap of one foot but not getting the other foot down. I mean, that game could have even been much higher. And Pickens' numbers, I think he's at least 75 in every game with Russ. And I think at least 4 or 5 catches. So yeah, I mean, I see his targets going up. So I definitely see Pickens' game there going downfield. I mean, that's where Pickens is at his best. And the Ravens struggle with that. The Ravens have struggled with that with
Kyle Hamilton's out now too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, like I know talked about, Bo Nick's not getting there, but the Raiders got there. Devontae Adams got there. And that was with good old Gardner Minshew.
I don't know what he put up to that day, but I
know 270, something like that.
Okay. I know Devontae got over 100 in a touchdown.
Yeah. So my point is I do think the Ravens secondary is really bad and very exploitable. And I think this is the difference between Fields and Russ is Russ can exploit it enough to at least keep the game close, at least get some props for us. Fields, probably not.
Yeah. I mean, what a genius. I mean, everybody was like doubting him. Oh, Fields is 4-2. Just an absolute genius being like, no, for these, stretch run, if we want to win, we need Russ. And I think they're a fun team to watch. So we might be on opposite sides of this one here, Tyler, but we're definitely both on Pickens, which by the way, if you hold him up to 100, you can get close to 3-1. So I'm just saying, I think, do you co-sign that?
Yeah, I think Pickens can get over 100 here, but I just don't think they win. I'm not as confident as them winning the game. I think half their offense isn't going to be able to work in this game. Just, I don't like the spot.
Yeah. So the one thing I'll say, and, if you watch like last game and honestly the game before is Russ is, and they're calling plays the same way to every receiver. And sure, when you're doing those jump balls to George Pickens, that's great. But when you're trying them downfield to Van Jefferson or Calvin Austin, they did not work. They finally called one to Mike Williams at the end of the game, and it won. It worked. So Mike Williams being more involved.
It'll be interesting to see how much more involved.
Those are going to be threats to Baltimore. But I think they need to just call the game a little bit better. And if you want to use Calvin Austin to, run some slot routes, go for it. But he's not. He's not going to go downfield.
Your downfield threat. Yeah. No, I mean, what is it? Do they have a line for Mike Williams yet?
I don't see one.
Okay. I mean, they will eventually. So, I mean, it's just probably going to take one of his beautiful moon balls. I am so obsessed with Russ and his beautiful moon balls. So I'm psyched for this game. So I'm obviously on Russ and his ladder, 250 and 2. Don't mind going 275, 300, 3. Go crazy. Just had to hit the 250 and 2, which I like a lot. But we're all in agreement on Pickens, 80, alted up to 100. Go crazy. Andrew in chat talks about if Najee were to miss, hope not for my best ball shares, but don't know what the receiving line. And either way, I think the receiving line is out on Jaylen Warren. Do either of you see that? I don't hate that approach either, because they're going to get Warren involved, Najee or not. And then he mentions Deontay Johnson revenge game. Tomlin threw some shade at him, being like, he's not even on tape. He's not even worried about him. But I don't know.
I don't see lines for Deontay Johnson or Warren right now.
Yeah, but I don't mind the look at the Warren receiving line. I mean, I definitely think that's, especially with Najee. Hope he plays, but especially with him banged up. Okay, yeah. I hogged all the time talking about your Steelers. What else do you like in the alt market, Tyler?
Yeah, we're going to go to another AFC North team. We're going to go down to New Orleans. Nick Chubb running against his defense when he's gotten 15 and 16 carries in his first 2 games.
Yeah.
New Orleans had the new coach bump last week. They picked up the win. I think they go right back to being one of the worst teams in the league. They were one of the worst tackling teams all year. Now Cleveland off a bye. You can get Chubb at 70 plus at plus 130, 80 plus at 2-1, 90 at 3-1, and 100 at 4-1. So love Chubb in this spot. And then let's go to Detroit for one, for a guy I know you guys all love. Let's give some Jameson Williams.
I love Jamo.
I think he can absolutely smash the spot. We know that they love to run cover one, man coverage over the top. That is not a good matchup for Jameson Williams. You could see Goff load up a couple deep balls in this game, and Jameson Williams be running by himself. So let me get you the exact numbers on those right now. His alts are, you can get 50 plus at 120, 60 plus at 2-1, 70 at 3-1, 80 at plus 450, 90 at plus 650, and 100 at 9-1.
That's great.
I think he could have 2 of those big plays in this game and clear 100 yards.
Yeah. Yeah. And Andrew made a good point. Looking like potentially no Laporta, which for their overall winning the game, who cares? They don't need it. They're going to win the game easily. They have whatever, over 30-point implied team total. So they're an embarrassment of riches. They have a lot of guys, but this is, like you said, a JMO spot. So I like the Chubb call. Chubb has had incredibly difficult matchups since he's come back. This is a Swiss cheese matchup. So we're all in agreement there on Chubb. Like the passing side, I'll get into that too. Because you can attack. I mean, Atlanta's had over 500 yards. They just couldn't convert to touchdowns, and their kicker missed like 2 or 3 field goals. So they just couldn't convert to win the game, but they had over 500 yards of offense. So like the Chubb call, like the JMO call. Steve, what are your favorite alts in the alt market?
So the first one I'm going to go with is in that same Brown Saints game. I'm going to go Cedric Tillman. 60 plus, it was just even money. Now I'm seeing minus 105, 70 plus 150, 80 plus 220. And you can go all the way up to 100 plus 450. He's definitely the, Winston's top target, also deep threat target. Elijah Moore might get a bunch of targets underneath, but, Tillman's going to hit some downfield shots. So I absolutely love that. Saints just trade away Marcus Lattimore. Their defense has been bad across the board. Next one, I'm going to stick in the receiver market, and I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. Last week he was game time decision, dealing with the wrist injury. He got the touchdown, didn't do much else. But we're getting Tyreek Hill 70 plus even money, 80 plus 150, 90 plus 220, 100 plus 310. I mean, this is against a terrible Raiders defense. I know you typically attack them on the ground, but I think Hill can absolutely get loose for a couple of big plays in this game. And then the final one that I'm really looking at, I can find it real quick, is Calvin Ridley. Since the DeAndre Hopkins trade, even with Will Levis back, he's being involved now, but his lines are still low because just the situation of the offense. 60 plus 105, 70 plus 160, 80 plus 230. I don't mind doing that. Titans are going to be behind. They're going to have to throw a lot. I know the Vikings have a really good defense, but I just think Ridley's going to, get probably 10 plus targets in this game, and 60, 70, 80. I don't know if I'd take him all the way up to 100 just because there's some more fragility. But yeah, I like that kind of mid-tier alpha receiver target.
All right. So you got Tillman. You've got who was the second? There was another one before. Okay. You got Hill and you've got Ridley as your 3. Let me say hi to Jamie. Always good to see you. He is fashionably late, but here for the party. That's what we like to see. I'm going to go a couple more quarterbacks. I'm really obsessed with some of these quarterbacks. You talked about Chubb. I like that. You talked about Tillman. I like that. I also like Jameis Winston in this matchup. I mean, again, 500 yards of offense Atlanta had. Cleveland can do the same thing. They can do it on the ground and in the air. 250 plus for Jameis, you're getting plus odds. 2 touchdowns, you're getting plus odds. We know that that's easily in his bag. He had a terrible game before the bye. He's coming off the bye. I like Jameis and Tillman and Nick Chubb all in the spot against the Saints. Another quarterback I'll throw out is a rookie who's Steve and I mean, hopefully Jaden looks great tonight and keeps looking good, but I really like watching Drake May. I've been very, very impressed, and they just don't seem to respect him in the prop market. I bet his rushing last week, he just missed the rushing line. I know we talked about that, Tyler. He just missed like the line last week. I don't think they have, I'm not seeing oh no, there it is. Sorry. So 225, you can get plus 135. I mean, yeah, his weapons are terrible, but you can attack that Rams defense. So Jameis, May are 2 other quarterbacks I like in addition to Russ. And I like Purdy, of course, a lot against the Seahawks, but you're going to have to pay a bigger price on that. The tax is a lot higher on that one, but let me get the exact number. Purdy, yeah, you go to 275 for 145, and you'd have to go to 3 touchdowns for plus money. But I don't mind 275 for Purdy. So there's a lot of, excuse me, these quarterbacks in spots. I've mentioned Russ, May, Jameis Winston, Purdy are my favorites. And then I'll just also mention that there's other running backs in the receiving game. I've come close multiple weeks. It's literally been 2 weeks in a row where I've just missed a running back receiver parlay. But I bet these alone. And last week we got CMC. We altered it up 25 and 50 or 25 and 40, and he got over 50. And then, of course, Kamara last week. We had Kamara, CMC, and Eckler, who we'll talk about later. And Eckler let us down. The week before, we had like 3 in there, and then Kenneth Walker just missed. Kenneth Walker is actually in play again. You can attack. We know Seahawks are going to have to pass a lot against San Francisco. He was involved in this night game. That's how we got there on a Kenneth Walker receiving prop. That was a Thursday night prop party show parlay that we hit with Kenneth Walker receiving. I think you could go back to the well there. I think they're going to have to be throwing a lot. So I think you could attack Bijan receiving, CMC receiving, Kenneth Walker receiving, Gibbs receiving. There's just a lot of running backs that, I just don't think their lines are quite set high enough. So, and then last I'll mention, and shout out to our guy. I want to say he tweeted me, one of our Dub Club subscribers had tweaked one of our parlays where we had the Panthers money line and some Giants props. He tweaked it, took out the neighbors that didn't hit, added something else, hit a big one. And so he tweeted thanks and tweeted like, you got to attack Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for mentioning this. You got to attack the tight ends versus Kansas City. Well, we got to check the line. Likely it's going to be Kincaid out. Knox is going to be his guy. It's likely going to be a probably attainable line. So I'm definitely going to be eyeing up. Let me see really quick if it's out yet. And then we can keep this moving. But that is obviously the 425 marquee game, Chiefs, Bills. I mean, a lot of the lines in that game are going to be really high, but likely for Knox, it's not. And I'm looking right now to see if it's up yet or not, since he's not, big name player. And they might be waiting on the Kincaid news too, obviously. So yeah, no line for him yet. Obviously waiting on official Kincaid news, but when there is official Kincaid news and it's not looking good, go look at Knox's receiving yards. Definitely like that. So I think we covered a lot of fun alts here. It's time to shift gears and talk touchdowns. So I'll go to you first, Tyler. Touchdown market. Who are you liking this week?
I got a running back and a wide receiver we're going to target. The running back, we're going to target the Jets' terrible defense. I am out on that team. They stink. They're done. Give me Jonathan Taylor running a touchdown against that defense at minus 110. That defense looks like a shell of what they've been the last couple of years. I think they've quit. So I'm going to fade that defense. And then as for the receiver, give me Deebo Samuel in the matchup. He always crushes against Seattle. So plus 130 on him. After he's punching the long snapper, this will be the week he gets in the end zone. Everyone's happy. Long snapper gets to snap the ball after his touchdown. They'll hug. So all will be better.
All right. I like that. I like making peace after the fight last week. Did they ever interview him about that? I was just curious. No. Okay. I didn't. I knew like Shanahan came out and was like, it's all good, but I didn't know if there was ever a statement by Deebo on that, but that was something. Steve, anytime touchdowns, what are you liking?
First thing I'll give is a little different. And, we talked about the Lions earlier. I definitely like targeting, JMO plus 165. But one thing I like doing is just a little parlay of Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both gain a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like you said, they have a massive implied team total. Likely game script, at home, they're just likely going to be dominating this game. No Trevor Lawrence again.
Yeah.
I just think
have a lot of short
Gibbs
fields.
are going to just be running the ball the entire second half. So parlay those together. I think that can be fun.
I like that.
Next thing I'll say, from the game I talked about before, it is a little juiced, but I liked Tyreek Hill from the yardage standpoint. I like a chain from the touchdown standpoint, minus 135 compared to a lot of other top end running backs. That's great. And also the Raiders have just been killed by opposing ground games this year. I think a chain gets in there. And here's the thing, it could be a pass as well. Like we know how, you got a ton of targets the other night, just didn't get any yards. So I like a chain in the anytime touchdown market. And then the last one I'll want to point to, let me get it up and get the number is, actually two that I'll point to, but one is Nick Chubb. Tyler talked about him from the yardage, but again, lead back plus 100, even money.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that every time. But the final one I really like is going back to that San Francisco game. George Kittle or Debo plus 130. I think it's a coin flip. I think they obviously can both get there. I think Purdy's in line for a big game. Obviously, McCaffrey's back, but these are the other two studs that are still on this team. And we know when this offense gets going, everyone can eat.
So Tyler
my favorite is
Debo.
Kittle. My favorite is Kittle, but I like Debo essentially just as much.
Okay, got it. Yeah, no. And what do they have McCaffrey at? I had another game pulled up. So
minus 235.
Yeah, there it is. He's back. He's back. I was surprised in the Steelers game. Usually that's where Derrick Henry's been, but they had him, at least when I checked last night, at minus 175. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to Pickens at plus 130. I mean, not only do I think he has a huge game here, I think he gets in the end zone. He has had such bad touchdown luck, leading before last week. And then the touchdown regression finally hit. He gets a touchdown last week. I think he backs it up with another week in the end zone, plus 130 against this horrible Ravens secondary. So I'm doubling down. on that call. And then let me give you one more. I'm looking for play. I agree with a lot of the Detroit ones. I like JMO. I like the Parlay and Gibbs and Monty. But let me go to the let me get to the Cleveland game. You talked about Nick Chubb, Cedric Tillman. It's seems to be his go-to guy. I said I like him for 2+ touchdowns. It could be Tillman. Njoku would be the two most, I think, common. They're one's plus 170, one's plus 195. Again, I like Chubb to get in on the ground. I like them to score a lot this week. Mm-hmm. I like the Chubb call, Steve, but I definitely think, Tillman or Njoku is not a safe bet, but is a good bet at plus 170, plus 195 respectively. So those were my two. Usually I attack the running backs market, look for ones that aren't super juiced, but I really do like Pickens and the Tillman. And you guys covered the passing game of the 49ers. That Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and San Francisco passing games are my favorites this week. All right. I mean, I've already spoiled my parlay of the week. So we've covered anytime touchdowns. Now it's time to talk parlays. I've already covered mine. It's Russ 250 and 2, George Pickens 80. If you want to go nuts, Russ 275 or 300 and 3, and Pickens 100. You could ladder a parlay, but I'm obsessed with that. That's where I'm going. Tyler, what's your parlay of the week?
Yeah, I kind of built like how Steve did his with the running backs from Detroit. It would be both of those guys to score touchdowns, and then both of them to get 60 yards. They've both done that already in multiple games this year. That's going to get you around 4-1 because you get a little inverse correlation there with both running backs getting rushing yards too. You can't build it out right now on DK or FanDuel because the rushing yards props aren't there. But just the 2 touchdowns alone get you a plus 246. So you're going to be around 4 or 5-1 with that same game parlay. With those
now, what were you saying? Hit them both at their line or around 60 or 70 yards?
Alt them both at 60 and put both of them in to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's going to eat for Detroit, but definitely we know when they're up, they can lean heavily on that running game. So I like that a lot. And that was kind of, Steve talked about touchdowns, and then you followed up with why stop at the touchdowns? 2 touchdowns and 60 yards each. It's happened several times this season. Makes a ton of sense, especially getting that number on it. Like that a lot. Steve, what do you got for this week?
This week I'm going to go with the same game parlay. We talked all around this game. So Browns Saints, give me Alvin Kamara plus 50 receiving yards, Nick Chubb 80 plus rushing yards, Jameis Winston 250 passing, and Cedric Tillman 70 receiving. That is plus 3,000, so 30-1.
Ooh. Give it to me, right? I want to write it down. Just what is
Alvin
it again?
Kamara 50 plus receiving.
Okay.
Nick Chubb 80 plus rushing.
Okay.
Jameis Winston 250 plus passing,
Okay.
and then Tillman 70 plus receiving.
Ooh, I like that. That's 730 to 1.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that a lot. All right. That's 3 fun parlays. My obsession with the Steelers passing game. Tyler hits the Detroit running game. Steve does a Saints Browns same game parlay. I like that. If you want to see these, again, this is like our first look at all this stuff and talking through it. We put out a free, always do, Fanspeak compiles together and each does our favorite touchdown. By Saturday morning, we do our touchdown treasure test parlay, which we've come damn close and we're going to get one this season. So we'll have that out for free on Saturday. But everything else, you get a free week. Link at the bottom. Go to Fanspeak. Get the link on the homepage. Free week on Dub Club. All this will be here. Alts, anytime touchdowns, parlays, quarterback ladders, everything, you name it. It's all going to be there. Free week. You can cancel if you don't like it. If you do like it, just 45 for the rest of the NFL season. And again, check out their Tyler and Spreads NFL betting card by tomorrow. Okay. Jamie says there is some, before we get to tonight, there could be potential rain in this game. Any boots on the ground? Because I just checked Kevin Ross report. I don't see anything. What's the boots on the ground weather report there, Tyler?
Boots on ground. Let me get the website pulled up right now to see exactly what they're projecting the weather to be.
Steve,
but here, Meg, I'll look out the window for you right now and let you know what it looks like out there. It's fucking pouring out there, Meg. Excuse my language. But it's pouring out there. The rain's sideways. It's not good. So
the rain is currently sideways. Is it going? What is the rain going to be sideways Sunday? If so, that's a problem. No,
it only says 1% chance for Sunday.
Okay, I was going to say there's nothing on Roto Grinders, the weather guy Kevin Roth, but
when I caught the weather channel the other morning when I was half asleep, I'm pretty sure they said today and tomorrow was rain. The weekend wasn't.
Okay, but it'll clear up. It'll clear up for Russ to throw those moon balls to Pickens with perfect conditions. Hopefully. Yeah, there's nothing on Roto Grinders right now, so hopefully we do get some clear weather for that AFC North battle. Jamie asked, do you like Jacoby Myers lines? I'm ranking him pretty high as a wide receiver too. Yeah, he's getting all the volume, just a crappy team. I get the case for it. I haven't done much with it yet in like underdog drafts or, in DFS planning, or, I guess you can look in the alt market. Dolphins pass defense is pretty good, as we saw on Monday night. So what's your take there, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I probably like Bowers a little bit more in part for that reason. But I don't hate Myers. I was just trying to bring up his line real quick. I'd consider that early because he's definitely getting a lot of targets.
Yeah, the target share.
Yeah, I mean, all you need is 60 plus for minus 105, 70s plus 145, 80, 220. I mean, he's not a good bet for anything like 100 or anything like that. But if you're talking about in that 60 to 80 range, I could still get behind that. Or maybe the catch market, because he'll get some gimmies.
I was gonna say probably receptions market. I don't know what his line's at, but probably receptions market would be the way to target him. Just with his target share. But I haven't looked. There's just too many other spots I like that I'm actually trying to whittle down from, as you could tell as I was rattling them off during our alt section. All right, so we covered alts. We covered anytime touchdowns. We covered parlays, which, by the way, I love all 3 of our parlays. Now we talk Thursday night football. It's Steve and I's Washington. I can't even say it. Commanders with Washington versus the massive NFC East rivals, Eagles. Basically, major division implications here. I think that personally, this is going to be a tough one for Washington. They haven't beat a great team yet, and I don't see it happening here on the road in Philly on a much improved defense and offense ever since their bye. Week 5, they had an early bye, and they look better and better each week. So I don't see it tonight for Washington. I think they could keep it relatively close, but I don't know. The spread is tricky. I don't know that I have a strong take on the spread. I just don't think Washington can pull this one out in Philly. Offensive linemen are kind of banged up, though. Do you know who's going and who's not, Steve, for the Washington offensive line?
I have not seen an update report.
If you see an update on that, whether they go or not, they're definitely some of the guys, tackles and the center are banged up. So, and I follow Rich Rebar, Sharp Football Analysis, read his report on the game, and Jaden Daniels against tough pass defenses. So that would be just because they have had a pretty nice schedule. That would be just the Bears and Steelers. not a great completion percentage, nothing super there. Also, still likely playing banged up, and both the Steelers and Bears were after the rib injury. So still likely playing banged up. So that's how I see this one going. Tyler, how do you see this one going for our team here?
Yeah, I think Philly picks up the win here. I think it's on a short week for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Playing two tough teams back to back is tough.
Yeah, those PA teams are.
And Philly quietly has become one of the better teams in the league. I think watching them now, they're the second best team in the NFC. They brought themselves right back to where they were a few years ago. Yeah. Their defense, which was their weakness, has looked very good over the last few weeks, which is surprising, to be completely honest with you. And I think they continue to just keep doing what they're doing. Yeah. I think they're able to move the ball through the air. I think they're able to move the ball on the ground. And their defense is going to give Daniel some problems. So I think Washington will put up some points here. Maybe you see an over, but I think Philly covers and wins this in the end. And I think Devontae Smith's props are way too low in this game.
Yeah. I love A.J. Brown. Seems to always shred Washington, so I do like A.J. Brown despite his numbers high. But yeah, I get the case for Devontae Smith. Washington has given up the 5th most touchdowns, and they still give up a ton of yards to quarterbacks and receivers. So I totally get that call. Jamie's prediction is Eagles 27, Commanders 23. Eagles cover the 3.5 and hit the over. I think it's kind of right around there. So I don't have like a comfortable stance on the total or the spread. Just unfortunately don't think Washington's going to pull out a win. Think you're in line there with Tyler and I, Steve?
Yeah, and just to clarify, they're not officially out, but all three, Brandon Coleman, Andrew Wiley, and Cornelius Lucas, are also considered questionable. It sounds like at least one's going to miss. Beatis should play. He's full practice.
Center, yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at least one, if not two, of those three other essentially tackles are missing time. So, like you said, short week, rookie quarterback.
Who starts then if one of them is out? If one of the starting tackles is out?
Well, Cornelius Lucas is the swing tackle.
He's the swing
also
tackle. Right.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have to see. I can't remember the next guy up after that. So yeah, it's not great, especially with the Eagles' defense is now top 5 in the league. They started the year not great, but they've looked really strong, like Tyler was saying, the last 4 or 5 weeks. And yeah, so I definitely see the Eagles getting their points. Washington getting theirs, I do think it's a bit more questionable and maybe somewhat dependent on how this offensive line is, how healthy this O-line is.
Yeah.
But I agree. Eagles offense, I think is going to be able to do their thing. Washington, I don't think they completely collapse, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Eagles win pretty comfortably.
Okay, we got Andrew in the chat with the raise hail, and he hopes it comes down last possession. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm skeptical, but they pretty much did last week and held their own with Pittsburgh. Jamie says Jaden Daniels passing yards is 226.5. Has hit it 5 of 10. He's taking the under, but he has gone over 200 in all but one game, so doesn't mind the alt 200. Yeah, I'm probably just not touching any Daniels props I just think he's still playing banged up and against a really good defense. So I'm just kind of sticking away there. Andrew says Barkley over 13.5 and under. Oh, the anti-correlation. I always love a good anti-correlated bet. And that's why you can do it with receivers. I know the guys from 4 for 4 do a lot of those. And John Hyslop, who's one of my favorite betting Twitter follows, really into the anti-correlated bets. And you could do receivers like what Andrew's talking about. I know Andrew's been doing them more this year. They're so fun, but I've also liked them if you do a quarterback under, receivers over. I also like what hit for our guy in Dub Club. I put it in the Dub Club. I did Panthers money line and then 2 Giants props. Well, Neighbors didn't get there, but he changed it to a different Giants prop. He got there. And that, it's just that anti-correlated that the books just cannot comprehend. Oh, the underdog will win, but the other team will still get their props type of deal. So with that said, let's build. Well, no, first let's talk who scores first. Then we'll build our same game parlay. Tyler, who scores first tonight?
I'm taking Devontae Smith. Scored 3 of the last 4 games against his team. I think he can score first here.
Okay.
Get a nice price on him too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the price? I'm pulling it up right now.
We are getting, because I know he's around plus 220 to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Get 12-1.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Steve, what do you got for who hits the end zone first tonight?
So I'll stick on the Eagles side, and I'll go Dallas Goedert. On DraftKings, it's 13-1. Might probably better on FanDuel. But yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to be able to do basically what they want. And Goddard's not the greatest touchdown prop, but he's on the field when he's healthy. And yeah, I think tight ends. We've seen some tight ends give Washington some problems this year. And I just like the better odds. Smith would have been my first choice, but Goddard, I'm right there with Goddard also.
All right. I like that. I'll go and then I'll look at a couple good comments in chat. So I mean, I think the obvious ones are the ones that are really low. Obviously, Hurts, Saquon, AJ Brown. I really do like AJ Brown at 8-1 or plus 850. But let me do a little fun long shot here. How about a revenge game for Zach Ertz, 20-1? Do I actually think it's going to happen? No, but at 20-1, it's a fun shot. So I think he has the second most targets in the team, second most red zone targets, I believe. So I'll take a 20-1.
You want the slightly more recent revenge, bigger number receiver here?
Yeah.
Almanide Zacchaeus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. Yeah.
46-1 used to play for Philly.
That's right. I always think of him from the Falcons, but I forgot that he played for the Eagles. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could go Jahan Dotson plus 35.
Yeah.
That's true. God, that first
year,
Jahan, there's a lot of revenge in this game. A lot of revenge. That first year, Jahan Dotson, I was so hopeful and excited about him. Remember, he was on my BBM3 team, finals team.
Yeah, he had seven touchdowns that year.
He had 7. He was very good. He really found the end
zone. And only in like 11 games, yeah.
Oh, was he banged up a couple of times?
Yeah, he missed a couple games. Yeah,
okay,
maybe 12, but yeah, he missed a couple games. I know.
No, helped lead me to the BBM3 finals. I was so excited and hopeful, and boy, did that take a downward turn. Oof. Okay, a couple things in the chat, and then we'll build our same game parlay. Speaking of the anti-correlated, Andrew said you can do Brown and Smith over their yards, under their receptions. That's what gets that crazy anti-correlated stuff. Books can't handle that. 51-1. He said if you want to go Senate, 95-1 first TD. Washington could pull some tricky shit tonight. All eyes will be on the run. And then McLaurin and Ertz. Okay, so that's Andrew's first 95-1 call. We had the Zacchaeus, I can't even pronounce his name, 33. We got some long shots here. We got some revenge. We got it all. And then Jamie says, rushing QBs versus Commanders. Daniel Jones got 32-54. Lamar reached 40. Hurts' line is 41, so I'm betting the over or take the alternate 40 plus. That's a really good.
Yeah,
I like that approach, Jamie. Really good call out on that. And then Jamie says Goddard's line is 3.5 receptions, 30.5 yards, taking over on both those. Commanders average tight ends, 4 receptions, 37 yards. They haven't faced too many talented tight ends. Yeah, I just worry about their lack of overall pass volume. It's just they're a very run heavy team. And I just think AJ Brown could smash tonight. I think Devonta could easily get his line. So then I worry about, that Goddard is the tertiary receiver. And I think, Barkley could absolutely should smash on the ground, likely played in a positive game script. Washington gives up, I believe, the 5th most rushing yards. So great matchup there. So that's the only reason I'm not getting to Goddard. But I hear you. The matchup's there. Matchup's there for a lot for Philly. And basically any way they want to cut it, I think they could tonight. So how do you guys feel about Ainias Smith touchdown? Steve, comments on that?
I mean, he gets some run, but and actually make more run than Jahan Dotson. But
I was gonna say, how many snaps is Jahan Dotson playing a full complement?
I thought his phone auto-corrected Devontae to Ainias.
I was like, I don't know who that's why I was like, Steve, and I was like, I don't know who the hell this is.
Yeah.
How many routes is he getting a game?
That's a good question. I'd have to look that up.
So not many.
No,
I assume a
pretty. They have Johnny Wilson there also. They're behind their top 2 receivers. It's just a mess.
It's a thinner
guys. Yeah,
it's a thinner path. Yeah, yeah, and again, just I don't think there's going to be a ton of throwing volume necessary tonight. But hey, long shots are fun. Long shots are fun. Okay, time to build Thursday night prop party, same game parlay. We'll put it out on Twitter. So he's just, Reek loves hitting on the long shots, and we appreciate you, Reek, joining us in chat and throwing out some long shots. So we always appreciate that. So thank you so much. Okay, Tyler, you're first up. Let's try to get back in the win column on the show same game parlay. What do you got tonight?
I'm going to stick with the same guy, Meg.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Devontae Smith over 4.5 catches at plus 105.
Okay, so
he's hit that in all 4 of his last games against Washington, where he's gotten, let me get you the exact numbers on the targets. He's gotten 7, 9, 8, and 12 targets. He's had 7, 7, 6, and 8 catches. And you look at his recent games this year, his first 3 games, he had 8, 10, and 10 targets. He had 7 catches in all 3 of those games. And then he's only had 1 game where he would have went over that 4.5, and it was against Cincinnati. But only 2 targets last game. In a game they were blowing Dallas out. They weren't going to throw the ball much in that game anyway. I feel like the numbers have dwindled a little bit for us. Give me the 4.5 here, plus money. I think Washington can keep it closer. He'll still be throwing the ball late.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much all you need for this one is just keep him close. And
A.J. Brown's been in and out of so many games this year. If he goes down, it makes Devontae wide receiver 1.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so Devonta Smith over 4.5 receptions. Steve, what do you like for your leg?
It's no longer DraftKings has pulled all Eagles props. I'm not sure why.
Okay, I'm on FanDuel right now.
So
up as of now.
Give me Saquon 100 rushing.
I knew you were going to do that, and because you and I were talking about it earlier, it's like he should absolutely hit a hundo tonight. Okay, so that is plus 112. Okay, I'm debating between a couple here. Okay, I do this. I've done this before. It's not that I can't make a decision. It's just I want just would like some feedback here. Do you guys like Jalen Hurts 2+ passing touchdowns? I just think Washington's giving up like tied for the 5th most passing touchdowns. The threat is obviously, if Hurts runs 2 in, Saquon runs 2 in, they only, then that's not looking too likely. My other one that I was considering is either McLaurin's line or I do like Eckler's receiving, but they don't have it. They have it up on DraftKings, and I'm building this one on FanDuel. So any thoughts on any of my looks, either McLaurin's line, which is, let me grab that, 60.5, or Hurts 2+ passing touchdowns, which is plus 118, or I do like Eckler on DraftKings. He's plus like 150 or 180. So, but I'm building this puppy on FanDuel. So, Tyler, I'll let you go first. What do you like best? Oh, you're on mute. There we go.
I lean more towards the Hurts passing touchdowns on this one.
Okay, I like it. We got this is our guy hit him with the gritty. We got Mike Bolduc, and if I did not pronounce your last name right, I apologize. But I know you from the best ball streets. Great to see you in here. AJ Brown 2+ touchdowns and 100+ yards. I think if I follow you on Twitter and know your best ball exposure, I think you're a big AJ Brown, have a big AJ Brown's bags, a lot of AJ Brown exposure. So you're definitely rooting for the AJ Brown 2+ touchdowns and 100. And I think it definitely happened tonight. So like that call, and that would give me the Hurts 2 tuds that Tyler liked. So Steve, do you like that? Or do you like my McLaurin?
I like the Hurts 2 touchdowns.
Okay. So we've got a Philly themed with the 2 Washington fans, we've got a Philly themed parlay here. I mean, if anybody thinks Washington could pull it off, I'm just showing you what an anti-correlated team thinks. So we did 3 Philly props, right? It's plus 661. You throw in the underdog, 40-1. I don't think that's happening, but this is what I'm talking about. That I did one on Monday. I did think the Dolphins were going to win. They did. My Rams props just didn't all get there because I had one with Kyron and I had one with Cup touchdown. So just if you want to approach a game, especially if you like an underdog, I mean, hit the props of the one team, hit the underdog, and it is just, you're usually looking at like 30 to 40-1. So just wanted to show that example. We won't do that because we all kind of agreed Philly pretty much probably wins this game. But our show parlay, Eagles themed, which makes me want to barf, but it's probably likely. Devonta Smith, over 4.5 receptions. Saquon Barkley, 100+ yards. Jalen Hurts, 2+ touchdowns. And again, Mike, I definitely think AJ Brown 2+ touchdowns, 100 yards is definitely in the realm tonight. And I like Barkley tonight. James says, how about Barkley 3+ touchdowns at plus 1,100? It's definitely worth throwing $1 or $2. Again, it could be AJ Brown, it could be Saquon Barkley, it could be Jalen Hurts, could be a mix, could be one on the ground for Hurts, 2 in the air, 2 Saquon touchdowns. It could be a mix. I don't know. I do see Eagles scoring 4+ touchdowns tonight. I don't know. Do you think that? I don't think that's crazy.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think they could score 4+.
Yeah.
Steelers got 4 last week, and
yeah.
And
the way the Ravens got 4 on us too, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
So because Henry got 2 in that game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, this was fun. This parlay will be up on Twitter. We will, of course, include in Dub Club too. Again, if you want to check out our Dub Club free week, link at the bottom and on Fanspeak. Final thoughts, and then we'll get out of there. And then let me see what Mike says here before we check in with the guys. Goddard probably goes for 100+ and 3 touchdowns. That would help some of my best ball exposure. I know Steve and I have a good bit of Goddard, but I don't feel as good about that one. But you never know on these Thursday night games. They keep you on your toes. I mean, last Thursday night was so much freaking fun. The risk-free, I needed like 30 more Henry yards, and I would have hit an awesome risk-free. Again, that was posted in our Dub Club, was really fun. Jamie says, let's win. Nobody likes a loser. Absolutely. Let's all winners here. Tyler, final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, final thoughts. I think it's going to be a fun week. We're going to start off with a bang. We're going to hit that parlay. Philly's going to get the win for us. They're going to beat up on Washington. You guys go into your bye after this week, right?
No, it's not till 14. But the nice thing about this is for Washington fans, you look at Washington's schedule, it's literally like, even if Washington loses tonight, they should pretty much there's only like 2 other games they could potentially lose. Like their schedule is like cake. Like it's in the play Eagles.
Spot, hold the wild card spot. You'll still be in the playoffs. It'll be fine. And then Sunday, we're going to hit all the ladders and we're going to make a bunch of money. So it'll be fun.
Exactly. I like that. Steve, final thoughts for week 11.
Yeah, no, I think at the very least tonight should be fun. Definitely some things in the betting market or DFS streets to focus in on. This week's games, like I said, I typically like more of the passing sides this week, and that's what we'll probably be targeting, passers and receivers. But yeah, definitely some really marquee games that we talked about: the Bills, Chiefs, the Ravens, and Steelers, namely, that I'll be very interested to watch because now we're starting to talk like tonight's game, focusing on playoff implications.
Yeah, and with Mike in chat, best ball playoff implications, right?
There you go. Absolutely.
So, stay tuned to our Twitter. We're tracking the Fanspeak team's advance rates. Posted that Tuesday, and we'll post it each and every Tuesday. Steve's crushing it. I'm holding my own. And all the guys are doing great. We're all doing great. And hopefully we finish strong. Andrew's in chat. Hopefully all the Fanspeak team finishes strong here in best ball season. He said, Eckler, I'd say, I just saw the FanDuel's cowards. They don't have it up yet, Andrew, but DraftKings has it up. So yeah, like that. All right, guys, this has been fun. I feel really good about our week 11 props. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this week. For Steve, for Tyler, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.